Well, if I'm a teacher, I think I have to be very careful what my view is, because one of the things you have to say at that point is, as we've said earlier on, and when I was a teacher and I taught RE in a state school, not as an ordained person but as just as a layman, young people did come and talk that through with me. And the point I wanted to do all the time was to help them to discover who they were at that particular point in time. It wasn't my role to make a judgment upon them in that situation. It's not the role of education to help people to make judgments on people. It is to listen to where they are coming from. And as Richard has said, there comes a point where a young person is going to have to make up his mind whether that tradition, the Anglican tradition, the evangelical Anglican tradition, or indeed the mainstream Anglican tradition's position is one which it can live with, that young person can live with, or whether they're going to have to reject it because they really do believe that is wrong.
But you've asserted generally that given the tradition of this country's education system, given the role of the Church, of the Church of England, there is a society which is essentially Judeo-Christian, and that those values are represented by the Church. Some of the issues we've been discussing suggest that actually those values are no longer represented by the Church, and that at the very least will confuse children, young people, about what values they should adopt.
Well, the Church of England has always taken the view that marriage between a man and a woman, bringing up children within that environment, is a God-given order.
Given that's the case, and of course that's a perfectly respectable view to hold, as no one would deny the right to hold it, should it be the view that predominates in the teaching of values to children at school?
Well, it is a view that is put in education. The issue of homosexuality is discussed within religious education. There is the opportunity for a wide debate to take place. If the perspective is put that the Church of England takes this particular line, equally, it has to be said that there are those within the Anglican communion who do not take, and indeed within the Church of England who do not. So it is an ongoing question.
General thoughts from our audience.
Picking up with respect to what Sir Richard Dawkins said.
He's not knighted yet. I expect he will be. He's a mere professor at the moment.
Professor Dawkins said, if a child is born into a family given a certain religion, when that child growing up basically knows more about their religion, and as they grow up they learn about other religions and choose, and they can...
Are you saying that the fact that you're brought up within a religious faith doesn't prevent you being open-minded or adopting any religion or none?
Not at all. It does not prevent me from being open to other religions. I, in fact, have come to this country and chose to put the veil on. I have come to this country without a veil on.
So not so very wicked is the view.
But what is the penalty for apostasy? What is the penalty for leaving the Muslim faith?
To be honest, I cannot back that point up.
Dr. Mukadam, what is the penalty for apostasy?
And, before...
we keep coming down this apostasy. Give us a quick answer on what is the penalty for apostasy, and then we'll come to the audience.
You very well know, if it's an Islamic country, then the Sharia is very clear. Apostasy is dealt with the death penalty.
Thank you. That's all I want to hear.
But what's the relevance between what happens in an Islamic country and Great Britain? I fail to see the connection.
Okay. I'm going to bring some more voice. The woman who's second in the middle row wearing the blue top, yes.
Yeah, I'd just like to come back to the discussions we were having earlier about abortion and homosexuality. And really, I'd like to know when it became the case that we can fight really hard for our rights as women and gay people, and then we win the laws and, in very hard-fought battles, and then in school, children with no choice as to as to what viewpoint they're hearing, get to do whatever you like, and just, in a very small minority. The fact is, unfortunately, you didn't win Section 28. You didn't keep that in, and you didn't win the rules on abortion 40 years ago, and we won the right to access abortion in this country. And I think it is. I don't understand why it's allowed. Like, what is the argument for you being allowed to tell young people one thing when actually society has democratically decided another thing over here? We live in a democracy here.
And we're all part of that democracy. And if we're providing good education, we're still part of the democracy. We're broad and diverse communities. And in any good education, as I've said earlier, you teach what you believe in the case of a confessional Catholic school, but you give people the opportunity to hear other views and to consider different points of view.
The woman in the middle row here, you may still be at school, I don't know.
Yeah, Kerry. In our school, I go to Catholic school, and we are taught about abortion, but we're taught about the Catholic views to abortion, all other Christian attitudes to abortion, and all the world faiths and smaller religions' attitudes to abortion. We are told the Catholic view, and we are told what it is, and we decide ourselves whether it's right or not. Our school, because we are a Catholic school, we have the right to say what the Catholic view is on abortion because we believe in the sanctity of life.
Are your fellow pupils at the school, having discovered the various views, are they perfectly free to say, well, actually, I now favour abortion, and I'm no longer going to take the view of the school?
Yes, many of my friends.
Without any pressure? Yeah,
without any pressure, because RRA lessons are structured with their debates. You're never pressured into believing the Catholic faith. You're always having a debate.
From the back row with glasses.
One of the things that strikes me about the discussion is that it seems that we're frightened of robust discussion of religious differences. And I think what I've heard from the pupils here who are in Catholic and Muslim schools is that they revel in that. And that's what religious education offers. And I think we've got a lot of adults who are very frightened of religion. What we need is the balanced discussion of passionate religious commitment in schools so that people can make up their own minds.
One more brief point at the back.
I think the how of social, moral, cultural education is the education aspect is to ask open questions and to enable students, as our participant over here said, to enable students to take part in debate and discussion. Part of education is to express your view and justify it.
Thank you.
Open questions.
Thank you very much on that issue of open questions. We come to the closing of these questions. Thank you to our panel here, to our specialists, to the audience. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.